They need this information to make informed decisions. Like I mentioned, the decision on what programs to do, how to stimulate the economy, are other relief programs necessary? Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. I've got a big update for you today. First, will there be more funding like the EIDL program for individuals and small businesses? Well, data will help inform those types of decisions. Data from things like the economic census, which is due soon. I'll tell you how you can quickly weigh in and inform federal policy decisions that can help you and your business. Speaking of the feds and Fed Chair Jerome Powell, I've got an update there. This is new news, what Jerome Powell is now saying about interest rates. I'll share that. I'll also talk about jobless claims and highlight a few grants that you can apply for right now, including our $1,000 grants. Without further ado, thanks so much for tuning in and subscribing. And if you are serious about getting funding or growing your business or your side hustle, do yourself a favor, preview our brand new app. It's available on the App Store and Google Play. Highly recommend you checking it out. There's a lot of funding options on there, things I don't talk about in these videos that you can discover directly on the Skip app. Search in the app stores, or you can use the link right in the description. So before I talk about data that will inform whether or not there are programs like the EIDL in the future, let me start with this from the Wall Street Journal. Jerome Powell says the Fed is prepared to speed up interest rate rises. This is a big deal. Chair says U.S. Central Bank likely to lift rates higher than previously thought to fight inflation. Inflation is still strong. Yes, we've seen more or less positive signals, but many economists think it's not enough. We have a long way to go. We need to keep bringing up interest rates to, and I quote, cool an economy that has shown surprising strength. Mr. Powell made these comments to lawmakers earlier this week. Here's another quote from Powell. The latest economic data have come in stronger than expected, which suggests that the ultimate level of interest rates is likely to be higher than previously anticipated. If the totality of the data were to indicate that faster tightening is warranted, we would be prepared to increase the pace of rate hikes. As a result of this news, stocks were hit hard. It's decisions like those that will affect all of us, including you if you're a small business owner looking to borrow, you're looking for affordable interest rates for loans. If that is you, there are a lot of options that still have good interest rates, such as the SSBCI program. Nearly every state has now been approved for SSBCI funding. I'll talk about the latest there in the next video, or other SBA programs or other CDFI type funding. There are good lending options out there, despite news like this that interest rate hikes will continue. Speaking of continuing, the question posed, will the federal government restart or create new small business relief programs like the COVID EIDL program, or like the PPP, or like any of the other federal relief programs? Well, the 2022 economic census is underway. This post just came out. You have until March 15th to respond to the 2022 economic census. This is straight from commerce.gov. Here's why this is important. The economic census is by far the most comprehensive measure of our U.S. economy. Every 5 years, we gather data about America's businesses, its workforce, and trillions of dollars in sales by products and services. Data from this economic census are the foundation for our nation's GDP and other leading economic indicators. It also provides critical information to businesses, trade associations, economic development organizations, and state, local, and tribal governments. They need this information to make informed decisions. Like I mentioned, the decision on what programs to do, how to stimulate the economy, are other relief programs necessary? Finally, economic census data is highly useful to the small business sector as well. A fishing supply store in Florida could use economic census data to identify possible new store locations based on other similar businesses in his or her area. Or a grant writer in Tennessee could use the economic census to address a lack of grocery stores it shows in their area. Now, the Commerce Department did not send this out to every business, so you may not have the opportunity to send this back in. They've only sent it to around 4 million businesses. They started sending these out in January. Responses are due March 15th. So spread the word. Perhaps you can encourage others who've received this to reply and get this data back in. All responses are confidential. If you want to learn more, you can go to census.gov/econ. I'll also leave a link to that in the description. Okay, before I talk about U.S. jobless claims, let me tell you quickly right now how you can enter to win one of our $1,000 grants for March. as you know, we've been donating our YouTube revenue for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years this summer. I can't believe it. We're giving out $3,000 grants this month. It literally takes seconds to enter. Just click the first link in the description and you'll see on your Skip dashboard active grants that you've applied for. You can see where action is required. There's a whole bunch of new grants there and on the app. So definitely recommend making a habit of checking grants and funding opportunities on the app or on our website at least once a week, if not more. Speaking of weeks, the 4-week jobless claims actually rose over the past 4 weeks, but still remain historically low. Most of the new increases are coming in New York and California. Initial jobless claims, a proxy for layoffs, increased by 21,000 to a seasonally adjusted 211,000 last week. The Labor Department announced this today. This was the biggest week-to-week increase in claims since early October of last year. Here's how this looks over the past couple years. You can see this peak of around 800,000 in January 2021, and now it's averaging about 200,000 every single week. There were 10.8 million job openings in January, and employers added more than 500,000 jobs, while the unemployment rate fell to 3.4%, its lowest level since 1969. That's today's economic news update. We hope you found it helpful, and don't forget to go follow us on our Instagram to see some of our new reels about real businesses and their successes, and to download the Skip app in the App Store and Google Play to see all of the new funding options we've put up this week. Thanks for hitting the like button, and most importantly, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.